Hello everyone, and welcome to my Update US Gossip channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Sister Wives fans start petition to remove Kody Brown. Why? Sister Wives unquestionably depicts Kody Brown going through what many people consider to be a midlife crisis. While he has made some poor choices through the years, now he is having to face the music after 3 wives left him in a short time. Recently, fans are petitioning to remove Kody Brown from the show. Kody Brown is simple to hate, although some people don't like Kody Brown and the way he treated Mary, Janelle, and Christine Brown. Now fans are encouraging others to sign a petition about removing him. Kody has become ever more content over the years. Many people believe he is a narcissist, self-absorbed, and sometimes painful to watch. But why do some viewers want him eliminated from Sister Wives? Why do fans start a petition to get rid of Kody Brown? On Reddit, a Sister Wives viewer starts a thread about Kody Brown abusing his kids on the show. Furthermore, the user states, "Petition to remove Kody." It discusses how Kody shouldn't be allowed to continue with his behaviors. On change.org, the petition says, "The issue." Then adds, "Kody Brown has shown the audience this season how abundantly abusive he is to his family. We cannot bear to watch this man receive compensation for exposing his treatment of his children and wife. Until he is removed from the show, we will not watch any remaining episodes in this season and any following seasons." Others want more information. Other Redditors requested the original poster to give more specific details, but the poster simply wants people to acknowledge that Kody Brown has been allowed to mistreat his family for far too long. Is Kody Brown's abuse evident? Some people think it takes more than just removing him, despite the fact that the original poster finds it absurd that people are seeking an explanation for Kody Brown's abuse. Other people fill in some of the gaps. Others believe that the petition will be of no use. They don't think TLC will remove the show or Kody Brown from it. In a recent turn of events that has left many Sister Wives fans divided and deeply reflective, a significant controversy has emerged surrounding an incident in which Mary Brown is accused of throwing Janelle under the bus. For those who have followed the Brown family saga for years, this isn't simply about a single outburst, it's about the accumulation of unresolved tensions, shifting loyalties, and a long history of complex interpersonal dynamics within the family. Critics argue that Mary's decision to publicly criticize or downplay Janelle's contributions, especially during a pivotal family discussion, has not only exacerbated existing divisions but has also symbolized a betrayal of the sisterhood that was once believed to be the backbone of the Brown household. From the outset of Sister Wives, the relationships between the wives have been portrayed as a delicate balance of cooperation and competition. In the early seasons, despite the inherent challenges of managing life within a polygamous family under constant public scrutiny, there were moments of genuine camaraderie, a sense that the Sister Wives, despite their differences, were united by shared struggles and a collective commitment to keeping the family together. Over time, however, as new dynamics emerged and as the pressures of fame and personal ambition intensified, these bonds began to fray. Janelle, often depicted as sensitive and quietly resilient, has repeatedly sought validation and support from her fellow wives, hoping for solidarity in the face of internal conflicts and public controversies. It is in this context that many fans now view Mary's recent actions, a perceived instance where she publicly undermined Janelle's perspective during a heated discussion, as not only a personal betrayal but also as a reflection of the growing fissures within the family structure. According to several fan reports and online discussions, the incident unfolded during what was meant to be a routine family meeting addressing financial and logistical challenges. Sources claim that as tensions mounted, Janelle attempted to voice concerns regarding decision-making processes that had, over time, sidelined her contributions. Instead of offering the empathy or support that one might expect from a sister wife, Mary's response was abrupt and dismissive. Her offhand remarks and a series of pointed criticisms were seen by many as designed to discredit Janelle's opinions in front of the entire family. For longtime viewers, this wasn't an isolated incident. Rather, it was the latest chapter in a long line of events where Mary's behavior has appeared to align with a more self-interested agenda. Many fans have taken to social media with hashtags like #MaryUnderFire and #StandWithJanelle, arguing that Mary's actions are emblematic of a larger trend of prioritizing personal ambition over the collective well-being of the family. The emotional impact of this alleged bus-throwing cannot be overstated. For Janelle, whose journey on the show has been characterized by a mix of vulnerability and quiet determination, being publicly undermined by a fellow sister wife strikes at the very core of her self-worth. Fans recall moments from previous seasons when Janelle's opinions were often brushed aside in favor of more dominant personalities, leaving her feeling isolated despite her obvious contributions to the family's day-to-day functioning. In this light, Mary's actions are interpreted as not merely a disagreement over specific issues but as a deliberate move to sideline Janelle and diminish her standing within the family. The ramifications of this behavior are significant. When one member of a tightly knit unit is repeatedly made to feel secondary, it can lead to long-term emotional scars and further entrench the divisions that have, for years, plagued the household. Many observers have noted that the dynamics at play here are complicated by the relentless pressures of living life under the public eye. Sister Wives is a show that thrives on drama and conflict, and while producers are often accused of amplifying tensions for ratings, the emotional reality for those involved is far more nuanced. Fans who have followed the series for years argue that Mary's actions, whether intentional or driven by frustration, reflect a coping mechanism developed over decades of navigating interpersonal strife in a family where every word is scrutinized, and every personal failure is magnified. In a world where public image often trumps personal sentiment, Mary's decision to throw Janelle under the bus is seen by many as a desperate bid to reclaim a sense of control, even if it comes at the expense of long-standing bonds. Critics contend that if the Brown family is to move toward genuine reconciliation, each member must take responsibility for their actions rather than deflect blame onto one another. This controversy also opens up broader questions about the nature of loyalty and accountability in non-traditional family structures. The Brown household, with its intricate web of relationships, has always been a microcosm of larger societal issues, where expectations of solidarity often clash with personal ambition and individual survival instincts. In such an environment, every perceived slight is not just a minor interpersonal misstep but a potential flashpoint that can set off a chain reaction of resentment and alienation. For fans, the notion that Mary might intentionally undermine Janelle is particularly galling because it appears to contradict the values of unity and mutual support that many hoped sister wives would ultimately embody. The backlash against Mary is as much about the specific incident as it is about a broader cultural disappointment with a system that seemingly rewards self-interest over collective well-being. Supporters of Janelle have argued that while the reality show format may compel participants to adopt extreme positions for the sake of drama, the repeated pattern of Mary's behavior is indicative of a deeper, systemic issue. They point to multiple past instances where Mary's comments, whether during family meetings or in off-camera interviews, have undermined Janelle's contributions and exacerbated existing tensions. To these fans, the pattern is unmistakable, a long history of dismissive and even hostile behavior that not only isolates Janelle but also undermines any effort toward a more cohesive and supportive family dynamic. In this context, Mary's latest actions are viewed as part of a cumulative trend rather than an isolated lapse in judgment. As one frustrated fan wrote on a popular discussion board, Mary has been undermining Janelle for years, it's time someone called it out for what it is, a betrayal of trust. Yet, some defenders of Mary argue that the situation is more nuanced than it might initially appear. They suggest that the pressures of maintaining a public persona on a show as high-stakes as Sister Wives can sometimes lead to behavior that is misinterpreted by viewers. In the high-pressure environment of the Brown household, where every comment is potentially used to shape public perception, it is possible that Mary's remarks were intended as a call for clarity or as an attempt to resolve long-standing disagreements rather than as a personal attack. These supporters contend that the dynamics between the sister wives are incredibly complex and that what might seem like betrayal to an outsider could be an attempt at honest communication within a system that has long been riddled with unspoken tensions. However, even among those who advocate for a more sympathetic reading of Mary's actions, there is a consensus that the effect on Janelle has been damaging, and that a more collaborative, empathetic approach is needed if the family is to move forward. The fallout from this incident is already beginning to ripple through the public narrative of sister wives. As new episodes air, fans are watching closely to see whether this controversy will prompt broader discussions within the family about loyalty, accountability, and the need for healing. Some insiders hint that future family meetings might address the underlying issues that have led to such public displays of division, while others fear that the deep-seated mistrust may only worsen the existing fractures. The ongoing debate serves as a stark reminder that in the world of reality TV, personal grievances are never truly private, they become part of a larger, ongoing narrative that is scrutinized, debated, and, at times, sensationalized by millions of viewers. Ultimately, the controversy surrounding Meri Brown's alleged decision to throw Janelle under the bus is emblematic of the broader challenges facing the Brown family, a microcosm of the tensions between personal ambition and collective responsibility, between public image and private reality. For fans who have invested years in following the highs and lows of the sister wives saga, this incident is both a heartbreaking confirmation of long-held suspicions and a call to re-examine the values of loyalty and trust that are essential to any family. Whether Meri's actions were a deliberate betrayal or a product of an intensely stressful environment remains a subject of fierce debate, but one thing is clear: the consequences of her behavior have left an indelible mark on the family's narrative, challenging everyone involved to confront the difficult truths about power, vulnerability, and the cost of maintaining a life in the spotlight. As Sister Wives moves into a new season, the hope among fans is that the family will take this moment as an opportunity for introspection and genuine dialogue. True reconciliation will require all members, Meri, Janelle, and the rest of the family, to address past grievances openly, rather than allowing blame to perpetuate a cycle of division. For many viewers, the key to moving forward lies in transforming moments of betrayal into opportunities for growth, learning, and ultimately, healing. Until then, the incident will remain a potent symbol of the challenges inherent in balancing personal ambition with the need for genuine human connection, a reminder that in a family as complex and publicly scrutinized as the Browns, every action carries consequences that extend far beyond the confines of a single episode. In recent episodes of Sister Wives, a growing chorus of fans has begun to accuse Robyn Brown of deliberately positioning herself as the perpetual victim, a role they say she actively allows herself to occupy, rather than one thrust upon her by circumstance. Over the years, Robyn has been a polarizing figure in the Brown family saga, and while many viewers recognize her strength and determination, others argue that her tendency to emphasize her own victimhood has become a strategic narrative device. This phenomenon isn't simply about one isolated comment or moment, it appears to be part of a broader pattern in which Robyn's public persona is meticulously crafted, through body language, choice of words, and even selective editing, to evoke sympathy and deflect responsibility from actions that critics say contribute to the family's ongoing dysfunction. A pattern of victimhood? Longtime fans of Sister Wives have noted that Robyn's behavior frequently reflects a victim mentality. Every time a conflict arises, whether over financial decisions, family scheduling, or internal power struggles, Robyn is quick to frame herself as the aggrieved party. In recent confessional segments, her tone has been unmistakably defensive, as if she's not only reacting to perceived slights but also actively curating a narrative in which she is consistently wronged. This self-portrayal, according to many fans, serves multiple purposes. On one level, it can generate public sympathy by shifting the focus away from her own contentious behavior. On another, it deflects criticism away from systemic issues within the family, such as unequal power dynamics or unresolved grievances, and instead places the blame squarely on external factors, whether that be the actions of Kody or the disloyalty of other wives. Critics argue that by repeatedly adopting this victim role, Robyn not only undermines the possibility for genuine resolution but also contributes to the cyclical nature of conflict within the household. When every family disagreement is framed as an attack on her, the opportunity for open, constructive dialogue is stifled. Instead, a defensive posture takes hold, one that has been observed in both her public interviews and the behind-the-scenes footage that fans scrutinize so intensely. This narrative of victimhood, many believe, is less an authentic reflection of her emotional state and more a calculated tactic to maintain control over her public image. The role of reality TV editing. It is important to recognize that in the realm of reality television, no moment exists in a vacuum. Every gesture and every spoken word is subject to the manipulation of editors, whose decisions can dramatically alter how events are perceived by the public. In Robyn's case, some fans have pointed out that the production choices often emphasize her more vulnerable moments, her tearful confessions, her defensive body language, her impassioned declarations of hurt, while downplaying instances where she may have contributed to the conflict. This selective editing reinforces a victim narrative that aligns with a broader trend in the show's storytelling. As viewers become more savvy about these techniques, many have begun to question whether Robyn's claims of being wronged are entirely organic, or if they are being amplified by a production strategy designed to boost ratings and deepen viewer engagement. For fans tired of repetitive drama, this repeated victim portrayal feels less like authentic emotion and more like a manufactured character arc that conveniently absolves her of accountability. Impact on family dynamics. The repercussions of this victim narrative extend far beyond Robyn's personal image. The Brown family has long been defined by complex and often contentious relationships, and the dynamics between Kody, his wives, and their children have been a central element of the sister-wife storyline. Critics of Robyn's approach argue that her persistent self-victimization creates a toxic environment where the real issues are never fully addressed. When Robyn positions herself as constantly under attack, it prevents other family members from openly discussing their own grievances, leading to a cycle in which problems remain unresolved. For instance, her tendency to deflect criticism and blame external circumstances has, according to some viewers, contributed to ongoing resentment among her co-wives. This, in turn, has complicated efforts to foster genuine reconciliation within the family. Instead of encouraging an atmosphere where every member can acknowledge mistakes and work together toward solutions, the victim narrative isolates Robyn and, by extension, reinforces a hierarchy in which her perspective dominates, often to the detriment of a more balanced, collective approach to problem-solving. Longtime viewers recall earlier seasons when the sister wives occasionally set aside their differences to support one another during times of crisis. However, as the show has evolved, many fans feel that Robyn's continual self-portrayal as the aggrieved party has eroded that spirit of unity. The recurring pattern of blaming external factors for personal failures not only stymies honest conversation but also deepens divisions within the family. When every disagreement is framed as an injustice against her, it becomes increasingly difficult for other family members to express their own perspectives without being labeled as adversaries. This dynamic, critics argue, ultimately hinders the possibility of healing and personal growth for everyone involved. Cultural reflections and broader implications. Robyn Brown's embrace of a victim persona is reflective of broader cultural conversations about accountability, power, and vulnerability in the modern age. In a society that often celebrates strength and self-reliance, there is a growing awareness that true leadership involves the capacity to admit one's flaws and to seek constructive solutions to conflict. Many fans have observed that while Kody and other family members are frequently called out for their domineering behavior, Robyn's repeated claims of victimhood do little to advance the discourse on how to resolve underlying issues. Instead, they serve as a convenient deflection from her own role in perpetuating the cycle of conflict. This critique resonates with a segment of viewers who believe that personal growth and authentic connection can only occur when all parties are willing to take responsibility for their actions, rather than relying on a narrative that positions one individual as the perpetual sufferer. The debate over Robyn's victim narrative is further complicated by the inherent pressures of life in front of the camera. Sister Wives is not just a show, it's a window into a world where every personal interaction is magnified and every emotional slip is given outsized significance. In such a context, the lines between genuine feeling and public performance blur, making it challenging to discern whether Robyn's expressions of hurt are sincere or simply strategic. This ambiguity has only fueled the controversy. While some fans empathize with her struggles, others see her behavior as emblematic of a deeper unwillingness to evolve beyond a role that has long defined her public image. As the discourse continues, the question remains, is Robyn's perpetual victimhood a defense mechanism born of genuine emotional pain, or is it a carefully cultivated persona that shields her from accountability? The road ahead for the Brown family. For the Brown family, the persistent victim narrative is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can engender sympathy from a public that is increasingly aware of the immense pressures of reality TV. On the other hand, it risks deepening the internal rifts that have long plagued the household. Many fans are calling for a shift, a moment when Robyn, along with the rest of the family, can break free from the endless cycle of blame and start addressing the root causes of their conflicts. They envision a future where accountability is shared, where vulnerabilities are met with understanding rather than exploitation, and where every member of the family is encouraged to grow beyond the narrow confines of a scripted narrative. Supporters of this vision argue that true healing within the family will require all parties to engage in honest self-reflection. For Robyn, that might mean stepping away from the constant reinforcement of her victim image and instead embracing a role that prioritizes collaboration and mutual respect. For fans who have long hoped for a more authentic portrayal of the Brown family's struggles, this represents not just a personal triumph for Robyn, but a potential turning point for the entire household. It is a call for all family members to break free from patterns of defensiveness and to engage in a dialogue that values each individual's contribution.